paramount. But you also have to have somebody in the office when the town hall is open so they can help people. They have to focus on being good communicators and providing good information to people and helping people when they come in the office and when they make their site visits. And also, they are charged with administering administrations for the town, exemptions for the town, I'm sorry. So that is pretty close to a full-time activity for a clerk. So there's a lot of work that goes on in that office rather than just being out and looking at people's houses and making valuation judgments. We propose that you increase the staffing to 5 people, which would be an assessor, an appraiser, 2 data collectors, and a clerk. And that would provide enough people to have the office staffed every day, that the town office is open. And also, the appraisers and the appraiser and the data collectors can keep current with new construction in town, any changes, remodeling that's done in the town. And they will be able to take the time to do a fair and reasonable job at that. Also, the office should pay some attention to what computer software is available to help them do their job. The county provides the database. They also provide software to assist in some of the evaluations. One thing we'd like to see is training for all those people, particularly strategies for handling unhappy people when they come in. To say to them, too bad, that's the way it is just not acceptable. So they need to get some training and sensitivity in that regard. And the job responsibilities for the assessor's office should be updated and evaluated on an annual basis to make sure that you have the right people in the right places with the right training. Given the flurry of activity we went through this past year, status quo really is not seen as an option for the town, because it's not just, initially it was, waterfront properties, and it really has proven not to be that. Inequities are throughout the town, new construction, old construction, the assessment rolls are just very poor. So our recommendation is to perform a full revaluation of all the properties and move to full value assessment. That will, and a key thing here is, that provides a starting point to keep assessments fair into time. Now, some people get concerned about going to full value assessment because that $5,000 assessment now becomes $100 and some thousand dollars. But when you look at how the tax calculations and all the computations that are done regarding your assessment, every computation, the first thing is it converts your assessed value to full value, to full market value. So it would be much less confusing if all of the properties were at full market value. And then there's no confusion. So what we have to do is come up with a way to move towards getting a comprehensive inventory and revaluation done. Revaluing 13,550 properties is a major project. And we also recommend that it be completed within a reasonable period of time. And 2 years, we feel is reasonable. The process for doing the revaluation would be to evaluate the current inventory data and determine the scope of the data collection effort. Contact all property owners requesting their participation, allowing people to come into their homes. And quite frankly, from my perspective, it is to a property owner's advantage to let the assessor or the data collectors come into their property. Because if you don't do that, they have to assess you from the road. And your 4-bedroom home could very easily be a 5-bedroom, 2.5 baths, whatever the assessor or the data collector feels is correct for that property. By simply letting them in, they will measure the home, take down the number of rooms, and what the construction type is, the siding, and there's a lot of things that they collect. But to have that be correct the first time out makes it a much better process for the homeowners and the town. And then one of the key things is after that inventory is complete, they will come back to the property owners and say, this is what we think you have, this is what we measured, or this is what we estimated that you have. And give the property owners an informal opportunity to correct that. Then the assessors can do an analysis of all of the data that has been collected and do the full value market assessment on each property. Then it goes back to the property owner again. And what we are recommending is that process, rather than begin in May, begin in February or at the very latest March, for an informal period of time where property owners can come in and interact with the assessor and iron out any differences that there are. The timeline. This is an eye test, so I just go through it quickly with you. We've covered all the points, with one exception. Starting January 2009, which is coming up very quickly, as we know. Through this summer of 2009, do the inventory, update, do all the data collection, and then through the fall of 2009, do the feedback to the property owners, and also the assessor must define neighborhoods. And that's a process that the county and the state will help in, but it makes it much easier for the annual revaluations to take place based on what types of neighborhoods are established. And then the properties are revalued in the spring and fall of 2010, the summer, and February 2011. The rolls are posted as informal rolls. People can come in and discuss their individual properties. In May, the preliminary roll is posted, and then we go into the normal process, grievance in June and so on, that we're used to. What this does require is understanding on the part of residents and of property owners that there will be no changes for next year, even though we recognize inequities. Because we need the 2 years to do the data collection and the revaluation. Okay, what's this cost? To have it's really not realistic to have the assessor's office do this. 13,550 parcels works out to about 600 and some weeks of effort, and that's like 6 years